Welcome back to I Quit My Band. It's another episode. Thank you for being here. My name is Nate.
My name is Evan.
JJ has died.
He was actually in the chair,
He was
spontaneously
in the chair.
combusted.
He's gone now. We don't know
chair
what happened.
Gone.
Chair
I mean, unbelievable.
It's crazy how that happened. Actually, there was the repo men came and just took JJ out as he was sitting, and they're like, "Are you Mr. Cross? You haven't paid for this chair."
The Levin Furniture doesn't fuck around.
They do not fuck around.
He's like, I'm sitting in it. They're like, we don't give a shit. He owes us $179.
They strapped him into the chair. They duct taped him. You guys are going to need a new third host. Let me know.
Yeah, he left his card, the guy that repo.
Yeah. He'll be on the show soon. But no, JJ is he's traveling, I think, so he's not here tonight. But we are going to proceed with the show as regularly scheduled programming. We're doing it.
The show goes on.
The show goes on without, one of us goes down, we still got the motorcycle to go. It's not the tricycle, but we got two wheels, dude.
Yeah.
Two wheels still. And then if you couldn't do it, I'd just sit here by myself. I just roll on the camera and be like, "What's going on, everybody?"
I just imagine one light. It's just darkness, just one light. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're actually going to talk about another Queens of the Stone Age.
We're going to talk about Era Vulgaris.
My favorite.
Why
actually.
that one's actually cool. I will do that at some point. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I can't wait for the Era Vulgaris solo pod.
When you guys both quit, it'll just be me with that light in this chair. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Go follow us on Instagram and TikTok. TikTok was banned for about 3 hours, so that whole thing completely not a big deal whatsoever. So yeah, go follow us there. I haven't been posting to it because I was like,
oh yeah,
this is going to be done.
When you knew it was done, you're like, that's one last thing I got to do.
Exactly. I was so excited for it to be done. I was so pumped. People were upset, and I was like, hey, what are you going to do? In the back of my head, I was like, I don't have to. I can do half of the work. So go follow us on TikTok, and then go subscribe to our Patreon page. It's $5 a month. That's it. $5 a month. Become a quitter and get access to bonus content that we film here about probably like twice a month now. We do cool stuff like talking about the best late-night TV performances. We had a guest on, Bobcat Ron, just a couple weeks ago to talk about the AC/DC Back in Black album. If you haven't watched that yet, go check it out. It's probably one of our funniest episodes ever. So go check out Bobcat Ron on there and just become a quitter. It's fun over there. Today we're going to be talking about an album that we've both been accustomed to for the past couple months. We're going to be talking about Oasis's What's the Story, Morning Glory.
Main line in this fucking album for like a month and a half. Yes.
We're going to be reviewing Oasis's What's the Story, Morning Glory in its entirety. Me and Evan have been big on this album for the past 2 months, I would say. And I'll let you kind of explain why that is.
Yeah, so at the end of last year, a venue in Pittsburgh asked our band, TV's Norm, to cover What's the Story, Morning Glory in its entirety. Mm-hmm. Up until that point, I may have listened to this album a couple times.
Yeah.
I was pretty... During Oasis's run in the 90s, I was much more of a grunge guy. Like the Brit pop stuff was not dark and moody enough. There weren't enough riffs. And then Oasis for me was like the classic LimeWire band.
Oh, that's a good. I didn't even think about that.
Where it's like I want Champagne Supernova and I want Wonderwall. Yeah. But I'm not going to dig much.
You're getting Crazy Frog by accident.
Exactly. And then my dad's work computer is unusable. I thought that they also did Semi-Charmed Kind of Life or something like that.
And Closing Time. Oasis Closing Time.
Oasis Closing Time. Now your computer doesn't work. So I never really had a strong relationship to this record, but I have become very accustomed to it over the course of the last couple months. And it's interesting now reviewing it after having played it in front of a crowd. Yeah. Because my relationship to some of these songs, listening to them, is very different than when we played them.
Yeah. I kind of feel like during this review that's gonna be a problem for me because I played bass. I played bass on the show, and I had to listen and learn all these songs on the bass guitar, which most of these songs are like 3 variations of the same 4 or 5 chords.
Yeah.
And it's it's almost like AC/DC level simplicity. So learning them was hard. Like it was not like an exciting thing for me to be like, I can't wait to fucking play Wonderwall.
Learning them wasn't hard. Memorizing them
was very hard
because they're all so similar.
It's like a paradoxical thing where you're just like, I just played this song, except it's backwards now. But yeah, I guess I had a similar type of relationship with Oasis growing up. I remember the first time hearing Champagne Supernova in like a car with my parents. I was really young, and I remember hearing it in like the Where Were You were when we were getting high line. That may have been the moment where I was like, I can't wait to be a stoner when I'm older. I can't wait to be high. I thought that song was so cool. Like I had never heard anything like it in my life. And I remember just, I would just like tell people that I liked Oasis, even as a kid. But I only knew that song. And then like years later discovered, Wonderwall. But Wonderwall was never as big of a thing to me as Champagne Supernova. And then Don't Look Back in Anger. And then that's like where it cut off. Like I think the only other song I knew, I mean, I had heard probably like, what's the other song we played? The
Supersonic.
Supersonic.
Yeah,
I heard
Supersonic's a banger.
I had heard Supersonic before, and then I heard a song that was in the movie The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher. Plays at the end credits, and it's like, hold on, don't be scared. Yeah, what's that song called?
Crying your heart.
Stop crying your heart out. Yeah,
crying your eyes out or heart out. Or...
So I think it's Heart Out. Yeah.
Okay.
It's in The Butterfly Effect. Well, and that's right up my alley.
What kind of brought me back into the Oasis fold is there's a movie Snatch by Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Where at the end they play Oasis's "Fucking in the Bushes."
Yeah.
And that's like an instrumental.
Yeah.
And it's so sick.
I didn't know about that until we did the show.
Yeah, I knew that I needed to cover that. If I'm playing a whole Oasis set, we're playing "Fucking in the Bushes."
We need to have a little fun.
Because you can't really find a video of them playing that song live because it is just like a jam, basically.
Yeah.
But it was so sick.
It was very cool.
That is so sick. So that changed my perception a little bit of Oasis. And then when they got back together, like when they announced the reunion earlier last year, I did kind of, like when I saw how many people were excited for it, I was like, what am I missing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I always was just like, when people would talk about them getting back together, I thought it would just be like, yeah, who gives a shit? The guys that do Wonderwall.
Yeah.
So I did for like days go down a rabbit hole of YouTube videos, and I loved the Gallagher Brothers.
They are very funny. I mean, I started loving Liam after the interview he did with Vice, where they let him listen to new music and they just put headphones on him and they're just like, "What do you think of this?" And he's just like, "Not for me, mate." Just every song. There's like 5 songs he actually listens to and says he likes, and he's like, "Not for me." Not for me, man. And then just in the middle of it, he just takes off his headphones and goes, "I gotta take a piss," and then he just leaves, and it's done.
Well, that's the last episode that they do with him too, and it's great because like right before he goes, "How long are we doing this?" How long? Like he doesn't even realize what he signed up for, and he's just like, "Not for me, mate.
Yeah,
I'm done."
He's incredible. And then there's that Noel interview that has been going around about him, like talking shit on Maroon 5 to the bassist of Maroon 5 while he's in his house.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's like, guy comes up to him, he's like, "You're so influential." He's like, "Yeah, what's your band?" He's like, "Maroon 5." Maroon 5, fuck off.
Fucking shit.
And then he's like at a party later that night taking a piss. He walks out and he runs to that guy again. He's like, "You a fucking again? The hell are you doing here?" He's like, "This is my house."
Yeah, he tells him to like leave the house. He's like, "Get out of my sight. Whose house is this?" He's like, "It's my house." That's awesome. They rule.
Yeah.
I also didn't know about like how big of a band and how many fans Oasis had. Well, first of all, until the show really brought that in perspective for me, because I did not expect the turnout for like an Oasis tribute show for it to be as like big as it was.
Yeah, especially like a band like we don't like specialize
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Oasis covers. Then it's like
No.
we're slapping this bad boy together, bro.
Yeah, it was really a stitched together last second type of thing. But also, I remember thinking, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how big of a band is Oasis when I saw... There was an interview with Matty Healy from the 1975, like...
Quit modding.
Yeah, it was like before he got canceled. He's like, what were Oasis doing? Why couldn't they just get together and play shows as the biggest band? I was like, Oasis, like, I didn't realize they meant that much to people. Like, where it was a thing that other musicians would note. Like, why wouldn't you just, like, put your fucking issues aside and fucking get the bag?
Yeah.
I didn't understand. I don't know. It didn't occur to me.
Yeah, it made more sense listening to this album. Like, I feel like there's a different, like, timeline where if I found this at the right time, I'd be like, yeah, that's, like, the best shit ever.
Yeah. I don't know if it hit... This is really my first foray into Oasis. Like,
yeah, I gotta be honest. There was times towards the end when we were still rehearsing. I was wondering if you had listened to the album.
It was tough. Like, I would listen to it a lot. Like, I actually did listen to it a lot, but I just couldn't, like... It was hard for me to hang on to a lot of it. There was some where I'm just like...
differentiate the songs. Yeah.
You know, just like, what is this one again? The first song, I'd be like, yeah, you're going to have to remind me. Which
is this one of the ones that go to C and A minor?
Dude,
because that's half the record.
It's harder than it seemed. But enough with us talking about Oasis. Let's start just to I'm having a stroke. Let's just jump right in to the album. What's the Story, Morning Glory? It's I Quit My Band. Thanks for being here.
So this is Hello. We get just a touch of Wonderwall.
Right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning.
I think.
Oh, yeah. Right.
There we go.
And then a little squawk, and the riff comes in.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, I think that this is a solid opener to the album.
Yeah.
It has, like, one of the most, like, straightforward energy right away. It's called Hello.
Yeah.
You know?
I always thought that was, like, kind of the strongest part of it being an opener, was the fact that it was called Hello.
That is kind of sick.
I was like, and they do the whole thing at the end, like, it's good to be back. It's a really great intro track. And it's loud, and it's, like, raucous, and the guitars are kind of, like, the tones are a little bit unhinged. Like, the way the production is on this whole record, it's very raw.
Yeah, it's just like, it sounds like a wall of reverb.
Yes.
Everything has reverb on it. Like the kit, the guitars, the vocals.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of like they're in a well almost, but it's still loud.
It definitely was. Do you know how it was recorded at all?
It was recorded very fast. They recorded it in like 2 weeks. And they recorded it at the same studio that Queen recorded Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever see the Bohemian Rhapsody movie?
Yes.
Like that farmhouse that they're in?
Yeah.
It's the same studio that they did.
Oh, okay.
And it's with the guy that mixed their first record, too. Like, apparently they had recorded a bunch of stuff with the guy that ran sound for their tour.
Okay.
For their first record, and then when the label heard it, they were like, this doesn't sound like Oasis. This doesn't sound like how you guys sound. And then they found this other mixer who just, like, compressed the shit out of everything, ran it through reverb, and it sounded, like, big and loud like they did. So I don't know about, like, specifics, but I know it was recorded, like, very fast.
That's really interesting. I mean, it doesn't sound, like, sloppy or anything, but there is some sloppiness to it. Like, it sounds like they definitely set out to make a record that captured their live sound. But again, like, I don't have that much of a reference for what their live show was like, before. Is this their first album? Second album.
Yeah, definitely maybe came out in 94, and then this came out in 95.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool sound, though, because, I mean, they're kind of like if the Beatles sort of sounded like grunge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it has, like, the super distorted guitars, reverby vocals, but with these very classic rock song structures and chords.
So bluesy. Like, some of the riffs are so, like, just pentatonic scale, right at your first guitar lesson, like, you can play this stuff if you just have a little bit of a knowledge of the electric guitar.
When Tom and I were learning the licks, it was just like, it's all in that first like pentatonic position, just like like constant.
Yeah. Like, it's so non-complex, but, like, I mean, the simplicity is good, but I think my expectation of Oasis was like, I never would have thought after hearing Champagne Supernova and Wonderwall that they would just kind of be this like loud grungy band.
Yeah,
like, I really didn't have that prepared.
Yeah, there's like stuff on here like Hello and even like this next one that almost sound like,
yeah, this is called Roll With It.
Like, not, I don't mean this in a bad way, but like bar band.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, they just sound like a live rock and roll band. And it's kind of the last time I can really think of a band that would sound just like this.
Yeah.
That would be able to achieve the audience that they achieved.
Yeah. If you came out with something like this today, it would just be like,
what else you got?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's really nothing special going on. It's been done before. What year did this come out? This came out in 95.
Yeah, so it turns 30 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the interesting things about Oasis is that they didn't innovate in any way. But the songs are really good.
They're fun songs. There's not a ton of nuance. They're not really reinventing the wheel, that's the puzzling thing to me of like why it was so big. And to me, like, songs like this song and Hello, like, just even the titles of the song tell you how, like, kind of what you're gonna get. Like, Roll With It.
Roll With It's just a classic.
It's a classic.
Song means nothing.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
We gotta roll with it, brother.
You gotta roll with it. Like, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just one of those, like, you know, Jack Black and School of Rock being like, we're gonna roll with it. That's the name of the song.
And that's like, I think, you know, they were almost like a perfect storm of really good pop songwriting and like this attitude that doesn't match the band sound at all.
Yeah.
Like, they have like this punk Sex Pistols attitude, and then it's like their Beatles songs like turned up to 11, you know? But that is kind of the charm, though.
It is the charm. Like, you have to, like, the brothers, it's just so endearing. Like, they're brothers, but they hate each other, and they got this attitude where it's like, you want to see them succeed together, but you also want to see them apart and fighting at the same time. Like, you don't really know what you want, but then they just come out with these, like, just fun rock songs, and you're like, why is this what you make? Like,
there's so much anger and animosity and aggression. It's just like, you gotta roll with it. Yeah. To have a band tell you we're the greatest fucking band in the world, every other band's shit, and then you turn it on and it's just like, we gotta roll with it.
Don't let anybody get in your way.
It is kind of awesome, you know? And really digging into like them after the reunion and like seeing all just the wild shit they would do and all the insane stories, and then hearing the music, it's just like, it's like when you first hear about G.G. Allen, and you're like, oh, this guy's throwing his shit everywhere, and then you hear like,
this is gonna be the craziest music ever.
Don't stand so close to me, or whatever the fucking song is.
Oh man, what is that song? It's a good fucking song.
It is a good song.
It's the one good G.G. Allen song.
Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk. That is a sick song.
That is a sick song.
But yeah, it doesn't match, but it's fun. I don't know. It's just a rock song. There's really there's nothing else to really say about it. It's got the rock attitude on the kind of the cheesy level. You know, not in the same attitude that they give off in interviews and on stage and stuff. It's borderline cheese.
But Liam, I think, is what saves them from being cheese. He has a cool voice.
He does have a cool voice.
And, like, he is that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck at all.
So even when Noel writes a song where it's just like, we gotta roll with it. Yeah. He's like, hell yeah, we do gotta
roll with it. He's got that insanely deep voice that's just so intimidating. Here's Wonderwall.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I think this is the classic case of, like, Noel writing inarguably great song
Yeah.
that could so easily be unbelievably cheesy.
Yeah.
Like this could be like a James Blunt, You're Beautiful level, like just cheese fest.
Yeah.
But Liam's voice is cool enough, and he is cool enough to be this vulnerable and it still be a cool song.
Yeah. The way his voice sounds, like even in like definitely in the chorus, almost doesn't match what's going on. Like just how deep it is when he's like, maybe, like it just sounds like he's not gonna give in to what the song wants him to do.
Yes.
He's just gonna do what he does best and make this and kind of save the song. I mean, the song is great.
Yeah.
Like I think it's undeniable, and it's kind of a shame that Wonderwall has become just, the joke in the meme that it is of just like it's the one song you play on guitar. It's a great song.
It's a great song. And I was actually thinking, like, have we come through the looking glass with Wonderwall where it's like over the meme potential and it's just a good song again? And then I was like, I think that's just wishful thinking that I covered it 48 hours ago.
Yeah.
And no, it still is that.
It definitely still is that. But yeah, you don't really realize that it's cool until you play it on stage with a guy who can do the on the piano. That's what makes it cool.
And a bunch of people who are there to see Wonderwall.
Yeah.
You're like, this song actually is good. But I think that's a
drum
really
fill's awesome.
It is a great drum fill. But I think that you make a really good point about like Liam not giving what the song is asking.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a historical fuck up if you
Yes.
give Wonderwall what it's asking. And that's why it becomes a meme, because the guy that picks it up at the party is gonna give it.
He's gonna
He's gonna look at the girl that he barely talked to and like show her that he's in love with her.
He's gonna be with another wall and just be totally like Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
with
scaring the hoes
Yeah.
to the umpteenth degree. With
Can
the
you
Wonderwall
imagine
cover.
if the Gallagher Brothers were at your frat party and they're just like, we're gonna play Wonderwall, and just them both on like a bunk bed, and it's just Liam like, there are many things, just like that snot nose. Like it still has that like snot nose bully vibe somehow. I don't. It's weird for how vulnerable of a song it is, but
yeah,
it's just
it
his
reminds me of that
attitude.
Simpsons episode where like the bully like starts dating Lisa.
I haven't watched.
You're not a
Simpsons.
Simpsons
Not a
guy, but
Simpsons
yeah,
head.
it's like if Nelson Muntz,
Yeah.
like who punches Bart Simpson in the stomach,
Yeah.
is also dating his sister.
Yeah, it is kind of like when Cartman had. I can do South Park.
All right.
When Cartman
So we
has.
can meet in the middle here.
We can meet-
The Geneva Convention.
I could do South
morons.
Park.
Find some common ground here.
While we're listening to Wonderwall,
I mean, truly,
just
what is
analyzing.
What animated
So
cartoon can I
fucking
drag this fucking shit in?
You watch Family Guy? I mean, this reminds me of the
Let's
time
stick
that
to South
Peter.
Park.
Yeah, the South Park episode where Cartman has a girlfriend. That's all I was gonna say. Where he's still an asshole, but then he's very sweet to his girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. But yeah, I mean, maybe that is why the song has such the longevity that it has, because it's not like there hasn't been songs exactly like Wonderwall that have been written since then.
Yeah, and probably Oasis in general, because like one of the things like the division between them and Blur is like Oasis was like the lads band, the guys who drink beers and have a good time.
Yeah.
And like those are the type of dudes who when like they hear Wonderwall, it's like, damn, I do love my girl.
Fucking love.
And Blur was like the college kids, the smart kids, the sensitive kids,
Yeah.
the weirdos. And this is Don't Look Back in Anger.
Yeah.
Perfect song.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems like there's a little bone of contention here.
I was gonna say, so typically when people say they know Oasis, it's Champagne Supernova, Wonderwall, and Don't Look Back in Anger. I feel like out of those three, Don't Look Back in Anger has the least like nuance to it.
Oh, I disagree.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
How?
I think that this part is so cool.
This part?
Yeah, I think the lyrics are cool. I think the lyrics are
I think
great.
the lyrics are good. Yeah.
But coming out of here, doing that G to like the G sharp, right here.
I know. I know.
I
what
mean,
you're talking
that
about.
is
The chain,
cooler
yeah.
and more transgressive than anything in either. Right here.
Yeah, but there's so many other songs in this record that kind of reflect that and are kind of like don't look back in anger like children almost. That's how I like it's.
You mean like do like a half step walk?
Yeah,
or
like
something
has
like that?
similar.
But none are
builds.
employed to that degree. And is there a more satisfying chorus on this whole record?
No, there's not.
that.
I'll give you that. Like Champagne Supernova and Wonderwall, they do meander a bit.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, Champagne Supernova is 7.5
yeah,
minutes long.
it meanders a lot. I'll take that back. But this one just feels like Wonderwall has those deep strings. Champagne Supernova's got the water, the organ sounds as well. And I love the lyrics in that song. The lyrics in this song are great. Love the vocals out of the chorus is soaring and great. And it's an anthem. It's probably more of an anthem than those two, but I feel like I still classify it as the least interesting to listen to.
Yeah, I still disagree. I maybe as a listener, because I think there's more interesting things production-wise going on in Wonderwall and in Champagne Supernova.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm saying.
But like the bones of this house are fucking perfect. Like if you walked in and you're just like, you could slam on the walls with your fist, and there's just nothing that you would change about this song.
That's a good point. The house bones argument.
These are good bones, brother.
That's good bones. There's really nothing that could make this like. You can't show this song. If I showed Champagne Supernova to my dad, and I was like, "Isn't this cool?" I could see him being like, "Fuck no," you know what I mean? You showed him this one, he'll just be like, "All right, that one's pretty good."
It's pretty damn good.
It's kind of you have to defend it because it is a awesome chorus. I'll give you that. The lyrics are great. I think Noel's voice is a nice switch up on this point of the record too. Like it's not.
And he does give this song what it's asking for.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Because like I don't know if Liam would perform this quite the same way, and I think it came down to he was either going to perform Champagne Supernova or this.
Oh,
and Liam was like originally going to do this song, but the label had convinced him like Champagne Supernova is going to be a bigger hit, so he was like, I'm going to do that one.
Point proven, dude. It's going to be a bigger hit.
Well, apparently Champagne Supernova is only really, not only, but I think it's like much bigger in America than it is in the
really?
UK. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And this solo, and this break here, I mean, this fucking third
The fill
chorus
is great. Yeah. I mean, and just, you have to give it its flowers, too. So we played this live. It was definitely the biggest. It was the biggest, even more than Wonderwall. It was the biggest reaction of the night.
Yeah.
Like, clearly.
And I remember finishing that and being like, if Oasis could have just moved this away from Wonderwall a little bit.
Just a little bit,
You
yeah.
could have given us maybe a Hey Now and some of the other ones in between.
Yeah.
Because that'll come into like the overall in the record.
Yeah, the
where
sequencing.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah.
I mean, who gives a fuck about the sequencing? I do, but that's like really being nitpicky.
It's just more glaring when you play them in order to an audience.
Yeah.
When we're about to hit a place where like there's a couple like, oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
But then Champagne Supernova comes and everybody's like, hell yeah.
If you put them all three in the row, if it was like 1, 2, 3, and then the rest of the record, you'd be like, we can leave now. We don't have to be here. We're not waiting for anything. Yeah, but it's a fucking great song. Here's Hey Now.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to have to divorce my, like, what the enjoyment of playing this song was compared to listening to it, because this was a slog to play.
It's a slog to play. You guys hated it a little bit more than I did. I enjoy the chorus on this song quite a bit.
That
I like
weird,
the
like, walk down.
Yeah. I like the way that is, but yeah, there's really nothing going on with this song, and the back to the song titles meaning nothing. Hey Now probably means less than Roll With It or Hello.
At least a Roll With It I can like take into my life and give my own interpretation.
Yeah. Like today, I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yeah, today I'm gonna Hey Now. It's just like something like your
hey
annoying
now, I'm
neighbor
gonna go
yells.
take a shit.
Hey now, I'm gonna take a huge
Just
dump.
feeling that rumble. Hey now, whoa, feels like a shit coming on.
But yeah, like this is a more interesting turnaround than they do in a lot of other songs. Like this like weird walk down and stuff like that. But This is also, and the melodies are great, and we can probably say that for every song. There's not a bad melody, I think, on this whole record.
I give you that. Yeah.
But this, like, it comes in on like the one after like the and of one when they come back in, and like if you hear this coming up, it sounds like they almost stitch it in. Yeah, like sometimes it like comes in so tight, and like they wait one out later. Got to the point where we even cut the third verse.
We did cut
song.
it, yeah.
No one noticed.
No one cared. I knew that wasn't going to be a problem for anyone. You guys like, is it okay if we do this? I was like, yeah, it's going to be fine.
We do it to Wonderwall. We just like don't play the big chorus at the end. People are like, what the fuck?
It's the best song.
I paid $18.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like listening to this song.
Yeah, I don't hate. I definitely, I understood why it was so boring to play. Like, and that's the kind of thing that I knew I was gonna have trouble with, because like in the context of I have to play this, it's like fuck. I don't want to listen to this again and learn it. But when you don't have that on top of it, it's like it's not a bad just jam. You know, I was listening to it in the car today, and I'm like, this is. Not one of my, I won't say it's one of my favorites, but it is kind of a sleeper.
Yeah, I like the slide. Like,
love the way the slide sounds. Let's move on though, because we still have 3 minutes of this, and it just does the same thing again.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, you can cut ahead. Is it? What do we got?
We got a solo here.
A little solo. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they do a lot of the same stuff. Like a lot of the songs end with them, like they land on a chorus and they're just gonna keep repeating it and keep repeating it. And yeah, there's a lot of repetition on this whole album. And like the third verse is the same as the first verse.
Yeah,
you get that on a lot of these songs. But like they're well written.
Yeah,
but they do fall on similar tropes again and again.
Yeah. I was just gonna say this part. I remember always fucking it up, and I was like, "Oh, we're coming in on that again."
This is usually when the song would fall apart. Yeah. So when we got out of it successfully, we were like, "Done, stop,
it's over.
Put your instruments down."
Let's move on. The Swamp Song Excerpt 1, just a little bit of an interlude.
Taste.
Sounds like a ZZ Top song.
Sounds like LaGrange.
Sounds like LaGrange is being played in the background.
And this ended up on the Master Plan, which I think is like their compilation of B-sides and outtakes. But they have like a whole Swamp Song that's just them doing this for like 4 minutes.
Oh, really?
And when we did this live, we did turn it into LaGrange.
And that was sick.
That was sick. That was a classic bit.
That's what they the classic bit of turning an Oasis song into a ZZ Top song.
And no one, I think, got it outside of the guys in the band.
Yeah, and everyone. I remember thinking people like there were some cheers, and then I think it went on for too long, and people were you could just hear it being like, "All right,
that's enough, LaGrange."
Enough. Okay, so we're moving on to Some Might Say already.
Out of the album tracks, this is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I
love this lead, dude.
This is a tough one for me because this is another one like where typically like I would just say like this sounds like a lot of other just famous songs. I feel like it just follows like a very like I guess copied off of borrowed song structure a little bit, even the melody a bit, but the bridge into the chorus I think is my favorite part.
The chorus is awesome.
Yeah,
I love that chorus, and that reminds me of like Supersonic.
Yeah,
like where he writes like cool lyrics.
Yeah,
like one after the other. Like he was really good at like coming up with these lines that don't mean anything.
Yeah,
but they just sound cool.
Yeah,
like that line in Supersonic where it's like, I know a girl named Elsa. She's into Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah.
And then like in this one, education, whatever the fuck it was.
I don't remember. I didn't learn any of the lyrics. I didn't have to know the lyrics.
Yeah.
But.
Sink is full of fishes. She's got dirty dishes on the brain.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I love this bridge part. It changes the chorus up. Those are like it's the same 3 chords,
just in
different order, and it sounds so different. Yeah, and just such a I'd say if someone that doesn't know Oasis, and you're like, what would you think an Oasis song would sound like? They'd probably hum something similar to this. Just some British like,
Yeah, I mean, What I do kind of appreciate listening to the record, though, is like they wanted to be a big band.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that the guitars and there's no reason for the cymbals to be smashed on every.
Yeah.
But they were going for it. Like, they wanted to be the biggest band in the world, and nobody does anymore.
That's yeah.
You know, and I kind of have to respect that.
Yeah. It is interesting to hear just how loud they are. Like, I did not think, like, you hear songs like Champagne Supernova and Wonderwall, and like even that Butterfly Effect song, you know?
Of course.
Of course, the Butterfly Effect. And you just kind of assume that they would be a more reserved band. Even like Live Forever is kind of like a more reserved, quiet song. But yeah, so many of the songs on this record are just these huge, like, festival anthems. Like, no wonder that they were selling out just like giant fucking arenas, because like this is it's arena rock, but not in that like Guns N' Roses way.
Yeah,
like I don't know much about like how big like other big British bands, like bands from the UK, but yeah, I mean, I could see this just getting an entire stadium of people just jacked up.
Yeah, it's like they played, I forget what it was, like right at the end, like when they put this out, they played Main Road to like 2 nights in a row at this place called Main Road, which is like a big outdoor venue, and they were playing to 100,000 people a night.
Yeah.
And they sold 2 nights, and I was watching their documentary, and they said that like we shut it off after that because we were like burnt out, but the demand was there that they could have sold 7 nights in a row of 100,000 people.
Wow.
Going to see them.
7 nights in a row?
They could have.
They cut it off after 2?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then like you listen to interviews now, they're like, we should have.
We should have.
We should still be there, playing over and over again.
Those nights didn't have to end.
And it is crazy to watch how good these songs play to those audiences.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're built to like be hitting somebody, 300 yards away.
Yeah. It is, I mean, it is crazy. Like, if you don't know Oasis, if you were like the first time seeing them at a show like that, like say just someone brought you would be fucking, after this song, you'd be like, okay, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. Let's move on. Here's Cast No Shadow. Another really interesting one. Like soft, vulnerable track. Probably the most different on the record besides Wonderwall.
Yeah.
Fits into Champagne Supernova and Wonderwall pretty snugly.
Yeah. Yeah, he's playing like the thunder sticks on the drums. Yeah. They're not trying to blow it out, and like there's a lot more like atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, this feels like the most outside of Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova, like an album track. Like they got in there.
Yeah.
They wanted to play around with like sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this chorus, or whatever, the pre-chorus, is so good. The harmony that they got going right here. Just so
it's
catchy.
really good. Yeah. And again, it's just like 3 chords, and it doesn't sound like that. It sounds way more complex.
G, C, D minor. I mean, it's like the most classic chord progressions ever. Just switch them around.
Yeah. And then they cut it off early here to get into the chorus, which also is like very like soaring. Yeah.
I love that.
It just sounds like angels, you know?
Yeah, the Gallagher Angels.
The Gallagher Angels.
Guys who like bash their head in with a cricket bat.
Yeah. Guys in Adidas tracksuits.
Like
just drunk as fuck.
In a Guy Ritchie movie.
Yeah. And then Gallagher, the watermelon smashing guy. The third, also there. Yeah.
The third Gallagher brother we don't like to talk about.
We don't like to talk about. Yeah, the bassist. This was a fun one for me to play because this is the first time when the bassist really feels like he's getting some.
Oh yeah, and they give you that little section where you got to do the turnaround. You locked that in immediately. I was worried. I was like, we're gonna fuck that up so many times, and you were like,
dude,
no,
I'm a pro. I know what I'm doing. Kind of.
Right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the lift on this, like on the synth there, is really cool. Yeah, I like this one a lot. If there's anything I don't love about the song, I don't know what gets me about the lyrics on the chorus. Like that's another cheese. It comes off cheesy a little bit.
When they took his...
Yeah, as they took his soul, they took it. Yeah, I don't know.
It's so repetitive.
It's very repetitive.
Like,
I think that might be why.
This is one of the ones that I sang, and I was like, I say that a lot.
Yeah, this is going on for a while.
Yeah, this is... And I do it all the time in songwriting, where it's just like, if that first verse was good, we can do it again.
Let's do it right
But
again.
you usually have to change something. And literally this song is like a copy and paste halfway through, except for like the last chorus they switch around. Like you don't get that like added element or reduced element that when it comes back it hits even harder. It's like they kind of like showed everything that they had in that first half of the song, and we just continue on. I still like it because the melodies are really satisfying.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean.
It's a different enough song for it to be interesting, but they do that cut and paste thing a lot. This one in particular, Hey Now, I mean, a lot of the songs just kind of do what they, you know how it's going to end, unless it's like some might say where that kind of completely switches what's going on. But
yeah, they show their hand early. And
they really do.
That's it. That's what we got.
Just how it goes. Let's move on. Here's She's Electric.
The most Beatles song.
Yeah, that's
it
what
sounds
I was just
like a
say.
Ringo.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Like an Octopus Garden, maybe.
I couldn't tell if I liked playing the song or not when we played it, or if I'm not even sure if I like it now.
What I will say specifically about our performance of the song, it's the one that we played the worst.
Do you think so?
Compared to how good of a song it is,
yeah.
Like I think this is a really good song. Like I love this song.
It's a very well structured song. Everything about it makes sense, and it's fun, and it sounds like you can take your gal out for a nice, steak dinner.
Yeah, we're going to the sock hop.
Yeah, it's like a not greaser, but rockabilly guy song.
Oh yeah,
kind of like that.
Big time. Going up to Bob's Big Boy. We're gonna get a burger, and then I'm gonna drag race.
Yeah, my low ride or whatever my hot rod.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow the transmission out of my hot rod and not speak for hours. It's like, fuck.
This one's.
I want you.
Honey, did you blow out your engine?
Yeah, I blew it the fuck out.
Yeah. This is what you hear when you go to a Sonic and you see all those guys out there with their fucking old classic cars.
With a flame down the side.
You're just like, move your ass. Trying to get a burger.
I'm trying to get a blue lemonade tornado. Slushy.
Trying to get a Nerds slushy.
I'm trying to suck nerds through a straw.
Trying to get diabetes.
Yeah, I really, really like the song, and I don't think we played it well once. It's the chorus is tough because he does something that he doesn't do on the rest of the record. That like he wants you, and then like there's all these like big harmonies, like these 3-part harmonies, and we were like 3-part. I'll give you 2 parts.
We could do 2. Yeah. I think what we did wrong, and this doesn't, this is stupid to talk about on the podcast, but what we did wrong was I think we made it a little bit too loud and rockin' when it is when you hear it in the recording, it is a little bit more reserved than any. Like it does sound like a bar ragtime type of song, and not like the rest of them.
Yeah, because I think he is on Thundersticks again here.
Yeah,
because like the drums do sound very like fat.
Yeah,
and we heard this and we were like, this is a TV's Norm song basically.
This is a fucking grunge anthem.
This is a punk song,
basically.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
It's so funny that you're like, this is our song, the song that we played the worst. I only remember finishing this song and you being like, we got it, dude.
You know what? When you look at the general, he's got to have confidence, even if he knows we're about to get fucking mollywopped.
I think we got it, dude. It's all good.
And, we're a band that's used to playing a half an hour at a time, and this is like at minute 45. I didn't want to be like, that's shit, guys.
I noticed this about myself when playing bass specifically, because I didn't always play bass in bands. When I play bass in band and a show goes on for like longer than a half hour, I start getting worse at the bass. Like I start just being like, I can't do this anymore. Like it's enough. Forget everything I know about music.
I feel like that's just everybody.
Yeah, I guess, but for some reason, I just feel like like my fingers start like cramping up. It's just I don't know. I suck at it.
Yeah,
I just start sucking. Here's Morning Glory.
this song rules.
The song does roll. And this sounds like it's recorded live in front of an audience.
It does. I mean, the
I
helicopter.
don't know if it was.
This seems like a Megadeth video or something.
Yeah.
Like the helicopters,
Yeah.
like them on top of a prison.
Yeah.
You know, like hitting that riff and it's just the white light on them and just like.
That would be awesome to hear Mustaine sing this song.
Oh, you're
What's
green.
the story?
Yeah. What's the story, Morning Glory? Yeah.
Sucks so much.
So bad.
It's terrible.
Noel, after like 15 years, like, I could make up with my brother,
So we got
Dave Mustaine.
the new singer of Oasis.
I said maybe. You're gonna be the one that saves me.
Dude,
What do you mean you're gonna be the one that saves me?
I would pay $1 million if I had it to see Oasis at Glastonbury
Yeah.
come out for the first time.
Mustaine.
Like, bad news, Liam couldn't make it, but we got Dave Mustaine.
Just pulling a
me.
classic fucking AC/DC with Axl Rose situation. Just like it doesn't make sense at all.
What do you mean you were getting high? Nobody told me. Nobody told me you were getting high. Where were you?
Yeah, I
Oh,
love
man.
this song. This is like the rock anthem.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
if you're the rocker and like you got past Wonderwall, you got past Don't Look Back in Anger, this is your fucking anthem.
Yeah, this is always a nice treat. Hearing this at the end of all the other songs. It reminds me. I mean, it's such a Neil Young
100%.
ripper. Like,
Yeah.
reminds me so much of old Neil Young. Like, even like, I mean, that has to be.
It sounds a lot like Keep on Rockin' the Free World.
Yeah, it's got to be the same chords as Keep on Rockin' the Free World.
pretty
like,
much.
Almost.
I mean, I think Keep on Rockin' is like G, D,
Yeah.
E minor, C.
I think
and
when we
that's-
played it, I think I was even throwing in that don 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 like on the bass. I was
Yeah,
like,
and like that's something that they go to the A
Yeah.
instead of like the
Yeah.
the C or whatever.
yeah. I really love the like the pre-chorus, the need a little time to
So
wake
good.
up. Like that'll get stuck in your head forever. It's so sick.
Yeah, and just like that build up, like with the drums and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this feels like them being like, all right, we have enough pop shit. We need to rock the fuck out.
This is the most fitting with their, on stage and media attitude.
Yeah, these seem like guys who get drunk all the time and fist
Yeah.
fight.
Like this should probably be the opening track almost. Like I mean, Hello's a good opener, but this like really kicks your ass.
That is true.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. But hello.
Hello.
It doesn't
I mean,
say hello.
it does not say hello
No.
in the song.
We're
It's-
talking about Morning Glory.
Yeah, I mean it's all. I mean, if they did Morning Glory then Hello, that might be pretty badass. But I don't know. They do kind of like
Or if hello was called Hole and it was just called Morning Glory.
Morning
Hole.
Glory Hole. That'd be good.
Oh!
We both immediately were like, I know what this needs.
Oh!
Where's your morning glory hole? Yeah,
Hell yeah,
that's
dude.
good. Let's move on. Swamp Song Excerpt 2.
Yeah. It's a strange choice.
I don't know. Yeah.
To take like an outtake and give us 2 excerpts of it. And I like just put the song on
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
It was just like they were like really happy with the harmonica solo. They're like, damn, I don't want to give that up.
it. We need to save that. I mean, it is just such a weirdly like sequenced record. Like, there's, like, I don't know if I would have, like, I mean, we've said it a couple times already, but like, I don't know if I would have put these songs in this order, like whatsoever. It's a little bit
Yeah, I don't know if
Throws
that's,
you off a bit.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's like some old school like record label reasons. Like, your first single needs to be number 3, and your second single needs to be number 4, or
Yeah,
something like that.
probably.
You know, so that
Probably
like when you're
something like
listening
that.
to it, it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, the longest song needs to be the last song. Yeah, something like that.
Because just some separation between
Yeah.
Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger.
Yeah, and
Because I mean, none of those songs that we talked about, I think, are bad.
no, I don't.
They
think
just
so
don't
either.
have nearly the identity and like these are like engineered songs to
Yeah.
like maximum potential.
Yeah,
And
it's
none
true.
of those songs feel that way.
Yeah.
They feel like album tracks, you know.
Yeah, they're album tracks. Champagne Supernova, if we didn't say it yet, the last track on the record. I always, this song kind of hits that, it scratches the same part of my brain that, like, you know, Jenny 8675309 does, where it's like, it'll always be good. Like, I'll always get excited when this comes on anywhere. Like, you have to sing it. It's such a fucking good song. I don't want to say it's one of the best songs ever written, because that might be going over the line a bit, but it is one of the most recognizable songs that's out there.
Yeah, it's up there. And this
Yeah.
has a cooler vibe than almost anything else on the record.
I think so too.
Like, this still sounds modern.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of sounds like what the Verve was doing. Like, where it
Yeah.
was like almost like there's like a trip hop element to how spacey and like the drums are over
Yeah.
it. And it's like this song doesn't sound like it's aged a day since 1995.
Exactly. And they kind of give you a little bit of everything on this song too, like where Cast No Shadow, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, they kind of sit in one vibe the whole time. This one gives you the, you know, the vibier, you know, quiet part with the synth over top of it. Then you're rocking, and then that bridge kind of just really is its own like anthem on its own. And then the very end, like the way the chords kind of go down and kind of go minor, it starts like really rocking, almost like the Morning Glory, the title track does. It gives you everything you want.
Yeah, great. And like that fucking chorus is so incredible.
Yeah.
And like introducing it the first time at like a 5.
Yeah.
And then the second time it's at like 10. We're
Yeah.
screaming it. It's
Yeah.
soaring.
And then you got we didn't even talk about the
It's the best part.
It's so good. Yeah.
Playing that live was so fun.
I know. Here it comes. I fucking love the way those, what is that, an organ over top in the background?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Just some down home fucking
That
like
is-
Leonard
yeah.
Skinner shit.
It's
dude.
a Leonard Skinner guitar riff in the middle of like just a weird song about drugs. He's just throwing in like a little country licking, you know?
Some chicken picking.
chicken
That's what this
picking,
shit
dude.
means.
Yeah.
dude. Fucking Zach Wild was
So
in the
Zach-
studio.
Zach Wilde and Dave Mustaine to
Filling
replace.
out always. Noel's just like, I need money.
We couldn't get no. Noel's not in the band anymore. They both couldn't do it.
It's just Bonehead.
Yeah, just
Bonehead's the only
Bonehead
member
was
left.
like, they're not fucking me again.
We got Phil
I'm
Anselmo.
calling Zach Wilde, Dave Mustaine, and Phil Anselmo.
It's mostly Pantera with a little Megan. Someday you will find me. He's just got the
fact
bulls
is-
like.
the Oasis reunion is mostly Pantera.
A little dash and make it that. And
Dash.
Bonehead, the only original member.
And then we have like the touring drummer from Guns N' Roses filling out. the
Matt
lineup.
Soren.
Matt's, yeah, or just like whatever guy they have like on the Las Vegas residency. You know?
Yeah, whoever's playing at the Sphere now for
Yeah,
GNR.
whoever, yeah, that guy that's like always, that guy that's like always at their award shows. Like, you know who I'm talking about? I don't know his name, but one of those like Emmy award winning or fucking Grammy award winning drummers that just could play.
No, get that lady from Kid Rock.
The lady from Kid Rock.
That would be sick.
Or yeah,
Because she's like older now. Like, I have an image of her in my mind.
just wearing the jersey, just fucking rocking back there. That's who's filling out Oasis. That's who's playing the reunion. That would be an awesome fucking reunion.
Incredible. And they have to like, because they know that like Oasis, like they have to just lead with Bonehead and
Yeah.
all promotional material. So it's just like that classic Oasis logo and then just Bonehead. And then in
I would love it.
Darkened is
Yeah.
just like new metal,
Yeah.
just Nightmare behind him.
I would love it if they had like promotional posters where they were like, we got special guests coming on this tour. And then just like hide. Just like it's like a shadow of both Zakk Wylde and Dave Mustaine that just doesn't get revealed for weeks.
And they
like,
make
who
that
is it?
initial at Glastonbury.
It's just like, what
Just like
the
every
fuck?
instrument sounds terrible.
Yeah, Slash, Duff McKagan, just completely gets bombarded and railroaded by just washed up 80s rock guys.
Grunge killed us, and we're back to kill
We're
grunge.
back to kill
It's like, this
grunge.
isn't even grunge.
Yeah, this is nothing. Great song.
Great song. One of the best.
One of
ever.
the best songs. Should we move into closing arguments?
Yeah, let's make our CAs.
Let's do the CAs while this is going. Should I go first?
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, like I said, was not familiar with Oasis past the big three: Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, and Don't Look Back in Anger. And yeah, getting into this record, while having to play it was kind of, it was not the best way to get introduced to it because I was just like, fuck, I have to play these on the bass, and it's just hard, and I can't differentiate the songs. Like when you're learning a batch of songs at once, that's difficult, and when they are so simple, that's also more difficult. But yeah, I feel like I still need to give it time to like get that out of my head where I'm like, I'm not playing them anymore. I can just enjoy them, and that's it. But I will say, like, I was not prepared for this album to be as loud and fun as it is, but I was also not prepared for it to be as simple and familiar either. And it's weird to dive into an album that is as old as 95 and kind of critique it as if it's like, no, they're not doing anything new, because it's like I just wasn't there at the time.
Yeah.
Whenever I wasn't around for it, and probably in 95 it was like I can understand why it was huge, but to me a lot of it.
In your defense, though, like they're very clearly pulling from like
Yeah,
classic. I mean the piano lick from Imagine is on the record.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean it's to me it sounds like a lot of just like wearing your influences on your sleeve. Like it's Beatles, it's Neil Young, it's like probably a lot of other Brit, UK bands that were famous at the time as well. Like the ones that it's kind of a shame because the ones that really do stick out to me like are the singles, are Don't Look Back in Anger, Wonderwall, and Champagne Supernova. Like those are easily my favorite on the records. Nothing's changed there. I can have more appreciation for the other ones. Like I like Cast No Shadow, I like Hello, and Roll With It. Like Roll With It definitely gotten stuck in my head since giving this like a listen like every week. I like Hello too. I think it's all like really well constructed pop rock songs that are just like louder and more in your face than I thought they would be for Oasis. But yeah, I think in like a bar setting when I'm drunk, I'm gonna love these. In an arena setting, if you put me at a concert, I'm gonna love these. Am I putting these on in the car or in the headphones? Probably not very often. Like they still don't stick with me as much as I think other people do. I don't know if it's just like it seems like you have to have the Oasis like earworm, to really like catch on to these, because it seems like there are a lot of people just love this band and there's a reason to love this band. It's not that I don't see it. It's just that this album is there's not as many special moments as I thought it was that there was going to be. Like there's a couple, but yeah, some of them start to bleed into each other and some of them just don't like stick out as much as I thought. Like Hey Now and Roll With It and Hello start to feel like the same song, and then like even what's the other one? Some might say starts to feel like the same thing. There's something about it that just seems very vague to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like it's a very like straightforward rock record. Like I almost feel like if like how JJ felt about the Pearl Jam record. Like I could probably sit here and be like, yeah, it's good.
Yes. No.
Like I could probably sit here and do the review on that level and just be like, yeah, it's a good song. But,
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I think Pearl Jam and Oasis, in certain aspects, they're like carving out of like how they have government cheese. Like if you had government rock, you know what I mean? Like if you carved out a slice of just like this is rock,
state issued,
rock.
Like it comes in the mail, and you're like, you're gonna like this.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, okay, yeah, I guess I will like this. This is great. I mean, it's not. There's nothing bad about it. It's a great fun rock record that like I can completely understand why this band is as big as they are, and you know why some of the songs will never die and always be memorable. But yeah, there's this album as a whole. I guess I'm like I don't understand why it has the hype around it outside of the singles, but I still can appreciate it. I still like listening to it. I'm going to give it a 7.8.
Okay. Yeah, I think I like it a bit more than you. I do think that it's like a report card of mostly B's and then 3 like A++ lightning bolts.
Which
you know what I mean? Like
you excelled in computer typing class.
Yeah, you crushed Jim, dude. And those like A++, I mean, they're unbelievably good.
Yes.
Like it's corny, but I still love Wonderwall.
Wonderwall's great.
And Don't Look Back in Anger, I do think is like a legitimately perfect song.
It is very good.
And I am like a tune hound. I love good songwriting.
Yeah.
And I would say that like Noel's approach to songwriting is fairly obvious. Like there's other guys who write really great pop songs who you're like, oh wow, what he did there was like. Blah, blah. I never really had that moment like learning the Noel songs, but I was just like, damn, he did it again.
Yeah,
he's like, but I almost had an appreciation for it because like I'll psych myself out when writing songs and be like, well, I can't go back to just that chord again. Never. He's like, absolutely we can.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sell 70 million albums doing it.
That is that's one thing I always thought about when we were having to learn this and play it and listen to it all the time. I'm just like, damn, he just like, no one, maybe I shouldn't, if you're writing a song, you shouldn't be afraid of like repeating the same thing. You can just take the same 4 chords. And then like we listened to AC/DC and it was like, this is how you become famous.
You don't second guess shit.
Yeah, just
dude.
keep fucking writing the same shit, and if it sounds like another one, that's the audience's problem. Who gives a shit at all?
Yeah, and there is I have an appreciation, especially because we don't have rock bands really like this anymore.
Yeah,
they're like the last of an era.
Yeah,
where they were like saw how the '70s rock bands were, and were like, no, you act like that.
Yeah,
you're like completely full of yourself.
Yeah,
you talk yourself up. You have no vulnerability in interviews. You just fuck with all interviewees. Talk about how great you are.
Yeah.
And I do kind of miss some of that swagger in rock and roll.
I do too. I will agree with that. Like they are more than just their music. Like they are characters, and I think a lot of the reason why people wanted them to come back was not just the music.
Oh, 100%. It's because for the last 10 years they've been dunking on each other.
Yeah,
in interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even like some of the like album tracks, I will agree with you that they don't have the personality that a Wonderwall or a Champagne Supernova has. It does just feel like a band tracking a rock song live.
Yeah.
Like we learned the rock song, we're going to play the chords all at once, get a good recording of it, do the vocals, and that's it. But some of those are still really good songs. Like they're all such solid songs. And when the highs are Don't Look Back in Anger and Champagne Supernova, it's like I get it. I get why. Like if you pick this album up and you were into those 3 songs and there were like duds on this,
Yeah.
you would just come back to those. But the
Yeah.
fact that you can listen to the whole album, like there's no skips.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like there might be when you've heard Hello and roll with it enough times where
Yeah.
you're like, I can't really tell these two apart
Yeah.
that much. But I get why it has like a classic status, and I do really, really like it. I found myself continuing to listen to it even after covering it. So I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to go 8.2.
8.2. Okay. I like that. It's an 8.
It's an 8.
It's a solid 8,
I
right
think
in the
it's a
middle.
solid.
That makes perfect sense to me. And what are we calling that? Is it an almost boring hell yeah?
I'll go with that.
a kind of boring hell yeah.
It's a definitely maybe hell yeah.
That's fucking perfect. It's definitely maybe a hell yeah. That is perfect. Damn. They fucking named their first album.
They knew what we were going to be up to 30 years later, dude.
Definitely maybe a hell yeah.
It's also great thinking of just how bad Liam and Noel would be just talking shit on us.
Oh my
this.
god, if they saw this review.
These fucking guys in the basement, are you kidding me?
They fucking played us songs. They probably butchered each and every one of them.
I'm sure it was awful.
It was terrible. It's like almost the same as a Beatles impression.
Yeah, I mean British. I don't.
Yeah,
You know.
it's British.
When
Whatever.
people are like, "Oh, he has a Welsh accent,"
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
like-
"What?"
Okay.
Yeah.
Welsh.
Okay, y'all sound like James Bond to me.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, it is one thing about like the whole like reusing the chords, and like a lot of these sound like just going into a studio and tracking a rock song and laying down vocals. Like you told that story about how you watched a documentary and they made Supersonic just by being like, we need a hit. We need something, like, I'm just going to go into this other... Noel went in another room and just wrote it, and they recorded it, like, in 3 seconds. I love that attitude to songwriting. Like, I always just think, like, you don't really have to overcomplicate it. You don't have to spend, like, fucking years writing, like, the perfect song. Like, you could just fucking come up with something pretty good and record it and put it out and not overthink it and just go down to your bare bones of like, your caveman instincts of what songwriting is. And you're just like, yeah, people will like that. That's fine. And then it works out. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that they do have that attitude towards songwriting where it's just like, yeah, this is good. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's like that get out of your own way.
Yeah, exactly.
We can knock on the repetition or whatever, but there's a good chance that if there wasn't that, we would have never gotten Wonderwall.
Yeah.
We would have never gotten Supersonic.
Yeah.
Like this kind of uncritical, like, if the guys in the room think it's sick and
Then
he's
it's
got
gonna
some
be good.
vocals, let's go.
Yeah. As someone who, in the past, writing songs has been like, the riff needs to be the craziest thing ever. Like, as when I got older, I was like, it doesn't need to be crazy. So I'm more appreciative of this type of stuff.
And we've also talked about, like, the feeling of, your favorite indie band has a breakthrough album. Now they must be Radiohead.
Yeah, now they have to do something insane and go off the beaten path to win a fucking Grammy.
Yeah, they're looking for like Hertz levels that aren't like visible on the spectrum
Yeah.
and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, maybe you just write "Don't Look
Maybe
Back in Anger"
Maybe just go to another room and whip up 3 chords in a cool way.
And a
just-
good melody.
And put it down and just see how that works.
Yeah.
Probably better than your fucking bullshit Grammy album, you know? Like Beck, Beck is fucking what did he do? He fucking played like 25 different instruments on that Grammy award-winning album that he
The
had.
Morning Phase
The
or
Morning
whatever?
Phase, yeah. Like that, you didn't need to do that.
You ain't got to do all
You
that.
don't gotta do all that. Just give me Loser, dude.
Yeah, dude. Down.
Yeah, that's all it takes. That's the review. That's the album. An 8 out of 10. A definitely maybe a hell yeah from the IQMB boys, minus JJ. If JJ was here, he'd probably give it a 10 out of 10.
You think? No. I was gonna say. I was thinking maybe a 6-8.
JJ would bring this score down a lot.
Yeah, it'd be definitely maybe a dog shit.
He'd be a dog shit. JJ would hate this record.
Probably.
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, he was at the show. He enjoyed it, but yeah, I feel like he's not. He's more of a
He's
balls
a
to the
classic.
wall.
Well, but he's also a classic Beatles guy.
He is a class. Oh, that's true. He's
So
a very
I don't, but I
much-
don't know if he would like, it's like you got your chocolate, my peanut butter. You got your peanut butter, my chocolate.
Yeah, yeah, it might be. Just give me the real thing.
Yeah.
I need Jif, not
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Skippy. But it's a definitely maybe out of 10. Comment and let us know what you thought about this record. If you're a huge Oasis fan, let us know that we're wrong and why this is the best record of all time. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are thinking that. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and go follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and go subscribe to our Patreon where you can find all of our bonus content and bonus episodes. Like we said, late night performances. We're talking about Bobcat Ron. He's kind of a Gallagher brother in his own right.
He's got a similar rock and
He
roll attitude.
really does. Yeah, so go check that out.
Perhaps an unearned Gallagher.
Definitely
brother type
not
attitude.
as earned, not as earned as the Gallagher brothers, but earned in his own way.
Yeah, I don't know if the Fayette County Rib Fest has the same kind of like Glastonbury
No.
audience, but
Probably almost as large, but maybe not 100,000. Talking maybe 700,
I mean,
500.
but they pack them into
They
that
pack
parking
it
lot.
in,
It looks good.
It looks real good in that parking lot. So yeah, let us know what you thought of the album, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and all that other stuff I said. Thank you everyone for watching the show. Classics Week is hopefully going to be done pretty soon. I'm over the classics.
And so is our audience.
So is
judging
the
by
audience.
Tune in.
Yeah, go watch our other review of Black Sabbath's Paranoid and Queens of Stone Age Rated R. And I feel like we did Back in Black. That's on
Yeah.
Patreon. So thanks everyone. We'll see you next time. It's I Quit My Band. Goodbye.